Going live here at 10 a.m. Thursday morning. Welcome everybody to another awesome show here on Real Estate Now. Thursday, like I said, 10 a.m. It's go time. So we're going to jump right into it because our guest has a very limited availability here this morning, and I'm so thankful that our go-to teacher expert with the Bellevue School District, Kelly Balzer, is able to join us. So we're going to jump right into today's show and bring Kelly in. Kelly, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Excuse me while I'm in a training and I've got some lawn care happening behind me. So if it gets
Nice.
noisy,
Hold on
there's a
one
lot
second.
happening.
I've got my lunch pail and I've
Oh,
got
good.
my apple here, so
Great.
we're going back to school, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just in a few weeks, I think here in Bellevue, we start in just a few weeks from now, and other school districts around the country have already gone back to school. I think it's exciting
Yeah,
time. I think it's everybody's a little nervous and kind of curious about what's going to happen and feeling a
yeah,
little anxiety just from not being in a school building and with masks maybe being mandated again. Everybody's feeling a little bit on edge about
yeah.
what it's going to look like, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, here we've been in this sort of online or hybrid or something um, crazy,
right.
and now we're going to go back to it. So you're currently on location getting your orientation and teaching and classes. So what's the temperament right now at Bellevue School District?
So right now we're preparing for full in-person return to instruction. Kids and teachers will be wearing masks full time in school, but will be all day, which is going to be a bit of a shift. Some of
Hmm.
our kids have not been in school for 18 months. They've been, primarily online. Other kids have been in school for just a few hours, 4 days a week last year. And so
Right.
everybody's sort of preparing for a return to normal and adjusting appropriately and accordingly. How do we still maintain distance and keep everybody clean, safe and healthy and keep everything clean, but still kind of go back to what school looked like before, right? That's the
Yeah.
that's the balancing act right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, what precautions? Well, let me ask one quick thing. Is the mask thing going to continue outside when the kids are outdoors and on recess? Is that still going to be masked up, or
That's a really
what was
good
the?
question. And I don't have the answer. I can tell you that last year in the spring, when we took like mask breaks, kids were only in school for 2.5 hours in the
Mhm.
morning block or afternoon block. And they got a 15-minute mask break where they could go out to the field and sort of be away from each other and take their masks off just to kind of get some fresh air. I don't
Sure.
know the answer to what it's going to look like yet. We'll have that information either this afternoon or tomorrow, more of the guidelines. And I know here in Washington, Governor Inslee just announced yesterday that we're going back to a full mask mandate, whether you're vaccinated or not, indoors and in outdoors large gatherings. So I don't know what that's going to look like for school. Um, but we all need a break from masks every once in a while. So we're going to have to
Yeah.
provide some sort of relief that way. I just don't know yet what it will look like.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. Kind of
Yeah.
cool that we're all getting back together, though. I mean,
Yeah. Oh,
as a parent of, well, last year it was one elementary and one middle school. It's still that way this year, but I'm excited for the interpersonal interactions and getting the kids back together because they need that.
I can
I
tell you that I was at school and the first wave of kids came back. The second graders came back first.
yeah,
They were all so full of joy and so excited. And even kids who maybe struggled a little bit previously were 100% engaged, totally excited. Behavior was great. They could not wait to see each other. And it was the 2 hours flew by. And so I think the best part about this will be just being back to being together and sort of being back to business. As an
hmm,
educator, that to me is seeing them is really makes me happy. Like it was just exciting to see them and get back to what we're supposed to be doing, right? That felt
sure.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So, you're deep and have a great breadth of knowledge in behavioral assessments and cueing off kids. What should parents with this reintegration? I mean, I with my two kids, I've got one that's like super excited and one that's kind of a little anxious to get back to the classroom setting. How do we help our children reintegrate back into the classroom?
I think when I think about sort of our reintroduction, I think from the educator standpoint, we're thinking about how can we do some social emotional instruction? How can
Right.
we sort of provide a safe space for kids to sort of voice those concerns? I think at home as parents, it's the same thing. Our natural inclination is to say, "Oh, it's okay. It's going to be all right." and sort of
Right.
want to pacify. And I think we need to give them space to sort of express how they're feeling, to be really just listen and, say, it is, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And it can be scary, but here's what we're doing to keep you safe. Here's what I'm committed to. Here's how I can help you. I think for anybody who's feeling anxious or kind of on edge, having a place where they know it's safe to just kind of talk about that and explain why they're feeling that way is enormous. And being able to know that I can express that, it's okay, and then
Hmm.
talk about, well, what can we do? And I think the other thing that I've really been doing and talking about is that a likely, not likely, is that a big problem or a small problem? I think little kids especially do a lot of like what ifs.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
we do a lot of like, well, okay, that's a great question. Is it likely to happen or probably not likely? And really
Yeah.
trying to sort of get down to that level of like helping them fine grain it down to like, it's probably not going to happen. Or if it does, this is what we will do.
Hmm.
I think there's so much media coverage and people are on a continuum of, some people are very like, it's fine, I'm not going to get vaccinated, I'm not going to wear my mask, I'm not really worried about it, to people wearing masks and gloves everywhere. So I think
Yeah.
kids see the spectrum, right? And so they're like, well, how come these people are and how come these people aren't? And so really
Right.
giving them the space and the grace to say, well, some people feel a little more nervous and some people don't feel as nervous, and it's okay to feel any of those ways, and just giving them the grace to sort of work through that a little bit, you know.
I think that's a societal prescription there. I mean, we should give everybody the space and grace,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, everybody
So,
gets, you get to feel and believe anything that you'd like to for yourself personally.
yeah.
And it's not my job to judge, it's just my job to go, that's how you feel, great.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to feel the same way, and not everybody has to do the same things, but we all have a different level of safety and comfort, and then we
Yeah.
adjust to monitor that, right? And we can be
Right.
respectful of others. So if I don't feel like I need to wear a mask in Target but that person does, that's fine, go ahead. I'm not,
Hmm.
that's your choice. And so
Yep.
I think giving kids that same freedom, but really being clear that, at school, the expectation is, and whatever that your school district prescribes. So if it's going to be masks all the time, then that's just something that we all have to do to keep everybody safe. But when we're at
Yeah.
home, we don't have to. Or when we go to the grocery store, we don't have to. And just sort of being really matter of fact about it. Well, the rules are that this is what we have to do. And so that's what we're going to do until the rules change.
Right. Yep.
Right.
There you
I mean, I
go.
think when you give, kids are really receptive. I have a little person, he's almost 2, and I'm noticing that he is watching and copying everything I do, and he's not even 2 years old. And so I think our 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 and 12-year olds are watching everything that we do, and we
Hmm.
can give them the information and the facts in a way that they can understand, and not pretending like it's not happening, and not, babying them, but saying, here's the deal. Here's what's happening
Yeah.
and here's why. And that sort of alleviates some things too, because we're not hiding anything from them. We're being transparent, and it's
Yeah.
creating this idea that we're trusting and that we're open and that it's okay, right? So I
Yep.
think those are, to me, those are like the tenets of how you hit it head on.
Gotcha. I think you said that beautifully. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um, I want to switch over to one of the typical measuring sticks of school, and that's grades and all that
yeah.
stuff. Like, here we are getting back to it. I mean, what should parents expect as far as seeing grades coming out? Like, uh, I, I've got a preconceived notion of what me as a parent is going to do with my 10 and 12-year-old, but
Right.
like, what, from an educator standpoint, like, how important are grades this year?
I think it's a really good question. I think a lot of questions still are around where are kids going to come in, how much
Yeah.
learning has gone on, where are they going
Hmm.
to be starting. I think there's going to be a lot of time spent the first 20, 30 days, which is 4, 5, 6 weeks of school, just trying to find out where kids are academically, social, emotionally,
Hmm.
what sort of needs do they have with, social skills and those kinds of things, and then kind of building the program from there. I would be more curious about, how's my child progressing? I spend less time worrying about grades and more
Hmm.
time worrying about, are they growing? Are they moving on the trajectory?
Mm,
Because grades are
yeah.
very subjective, right? What I really want to know is my child making progress? Is my child moving towards, this learning targets, or are they sort of
Right.
out, not making any growth, right? That would be more important to me, because a grade is sort of arbitrary. Oh, they're getting a 3. Well, what does that even mean? Like, that
Right.
means they're on grade level. And if my child, I mean, I can speak that my child is a little bit behind in talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's not talking. Oh my gosh. But when we're meeting and he's making growth, I'm like, that makes me as a parent feel like, oh, we're moving forward. If he
Yeah.
wasn't, I'd be more concerned. So I think the conversation that you're going to want to have with your child's teacher in the fall during your first conference check is going to be, you know, where they come in, how are they doing in relation to their peers? Are they right there? Are they a little behind? What can I be doing at home to help support? I know in Bellevue we do report cards twice a year, so you'll get one like in January and then again at the end of the year.
End of the year, yeah.
But really, as a parent, you are free to check in with your child's teacher as often as you want and ask,
Mm,
how are they doing? You know, what are their, and I know here we're moving to a parent view system where parents can log in and check as frequently as they want on assessments and test scores. And I'm not sure
oh,
if that's,
really?
yeah, so parent view is switching so parents can log in and see, are they missing assignments? How are they doing? And so you can keep tabs on all of those things. But
Uh-huh.
I also feel a little bit like that can be really intense too, given we're coming back full time and there's a lot of things happening that can be anxiety inducing. As a
Yeah.
parent, constantly checking your child's scores and assessments could be intense too. So I
Mhm.
think we just kind of, everybody gets to take a step back, give some grace, and just sort of ease in for all of us. Because even for us teachers, like we're going back full time. We haven't had full time classrooms in 18 months. And,
Yeah,
you know, it's been, even the classes were last year, they were 6 or 10 kids. They're going to be 20 or 22. That's a whole, it's just, it's all going to be adjustment for everyone. And so
right.
I think if we all just sort of ease in, we're all just doing the best that we can. It's going to be to the benefit of everyone, including our kids.
Space and grace right
Yeah,
there.
space and grace. I'm a big fan.
So I know you have to go in just a couple of minutes. I
Yeah,
want one last question, if you
of
could
course.
help. Um, you mentioned reach out to your teachers. You know, we had the honor and the privilege of having you as our kids' elementary teachers, which was awesome. And we engaged with you a lot. Outside the teacher, who else can parents go to for assistance at the school district? Where should they also be looking for resources?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. If you feel like your child maybe needs some extra support or has some other needs that aren't being addressed, I think you start with your child's teacher. And from there, your child's teacher might be able to refer you to the counselor if you feel like there's some other social skills things that might be needed. If you feel like your child needs some support academically, there might be the school psychologist who would be able to help you create like a 504 or perhaps do some testing to find
Mhm.
out if there were some areas to do some special education. I think your assistant principal or your principal, your leadership team are always good resources as far as what other kinds of things and supports are out there. The thing about schools is there's a lot of resources that parents don't know and that aren't,
Or
and they
utilize.
or utilize or access or even how to access, right?
Yeah.
And my role now, I'm not in a classroom, I'm the behavior interventionist. And so my role is to be the conduit between parents and sort of those resources and meet with them and
Mhm.
say, here's all the things that we can be doing to help you. And in every school, they have people who are here to help. And we have family connection centers. We have all sorts of outside resources and all kinds of things. So I think if you start with your child's teacher, they're going to be able to direct you to whatever it is you're looking for. And if they can't, they're going to say, talk to the admin team or talk to the school psych or talk to the counselor who can
Mhm.
ensure that you get those things. I mean, one of the benefits of being part of a public education system is all of the resources and all of the things that we put in place so that every child can succeed, right? We
Yeah.
have all of these things to make sure that every child succeeds and feels comfortable and confident and is moving forward, and that parents feel like they have resources. And
Yeah.
so we want to make sure that we're utilizing them. That's why we have them. And personally, I love meeting with parents. I love problem solving and walking through these things and getting to know them and building
Yes, you do.
relationships. Yes, I do.
I know that
And so,
firsthand.
yes, yes. And so for me, it's like, yeah, let's do it. Let me tell you what we can offer.
Yeah.
And I love it when parents ask because I want to be that conduit all the time.
Well,
So,
and I think we get utilitarian and myopic in the
yes,
function of school, like go to
yes,
school, get your grade, move on,
right,
right? And
right.
there's so much to your point that you guys can help us out with.
I
So,
think it's shift. I feel like in the last 18 months, school, the sort of the focus of school has shifted. And when I think about getting back to school, I'm thinking now more like developing the whole child. Like it's not just academic because your child might be a rock star academically, but we want
mhm,
to make sure that social, emotionally, and behaviorally, they're also a whole person, right? We got to support
yeah,
the whole person, not just one facet. And
yep,
so I think school is shifting now to this more whole person view of how do we support everybody. And to support the student means you're supporting the whole system, the family, everybody, not just the child.
the
So I
child,
think that's
yeah.
the other shift too, is how do we support the whole unit and what do we need to put in place?
Well, that's pretty awesome. That's a powerful shift.
Yeah,
So
it's great. I think it's, I'm in the best job in the world. So,
right on. Well,
right.
hey, congratulations on your
Thank you.
young men. That they're
Yes, thank you.
hold them while you can because they're going to grow up
I,
and then they.
I know.
I
I'm
mean,
getting bigger every
Hunter doesn't want
day.
to be picked up anymore. He's like, Dad, put me down. I'm 10 years old.
Oh, I
So,
mean, hold you
um,
forever.
yep, love up on them while you can because they're going to be like. But anyway,
Okay.
so thank you so much for joining us. I
Yes.
know you got to get back to your
Yeah.
training and your presenting and all that great stuff. So I appreciate your time so much, Kelly.
Yeah.
And have a great school year. And we'll
Thank you.
check in
You
with you
too.
later on.
Okay. Thanks,
Right on.
everybody. See ya.
Yep.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Okay. Bye.
Well, there you go. Um, man, that was up. I don't know if you noticed. I'm super excited for kids to get back to school to the point that like I'm tearing up a little bit because it's so exciting for me to see them get back to their fellow classmates and get on with their life. So here we go. Really quick. So we flipped the show. I just wanted to check in. Real Estate Now would not be a Real Estate Now show without checking in on the rates really quick. And so want to do that in closing. And I'm going to add this to the screen here. Rates show little movement. They tick down just an iota, if you can call a tick down of 0.01% a tick down. It did tick down just a little bit. So rates, again, are staying pretty steady right there at or below the 3% level. So again, great time to buy, refinance, look at investing in real estate as a landlord. So thank you very much. I didn't address the elephant in the room. Actually, I'm flying solo today because my counterpart and co-host Stacy, she's on vacation with her beautiful family, well-earned vacation. So they were getting out of town before the school year starts back, and everybody's back to it. So Stacy, we're wishing you the best out there. Have a great day, and Kelly, thank you so much. We will see you guys next week on Real Estate Now, same time, same place at 10 a.m. Thursday mornings. Catch you guys later, and have a great day.